Hi, it's Simon here from Sterling Coaching and welcome to this week's Monday's Moment video. This weekend I tried something out that I've always wanted to try but never had a chance, and that was paddle boarding. And it taught me a few things about balance, which gave me some unexpected lessons that I thought about my balance and also about my business and those of the clients that I work with. See you in a moment. So as you'll see from some of the video footage that you might not even be able to make me out on, trust me, I'm in there somewhere, I had to go at paddleboarding this weekend, and when I decided to get out onto the water, I sat on the board, had my feet either side as stabilizers, then I moved on to my knees, then I decided quite quickly to have a go at standing up on the board. And when I did, I sort of got up half tentatively, got my balance, got the feel for things, got back down as it didn't quite feel right, moved my position, then got back again, and then eventually got my position on the board right, as it felt right anyway, and then managed to stand up and stood up for the rest of the hour. Now, a couple of things that made me think about business is the way that we have to test and measure. We have to try things out. We have to see when we do something new what the balance is like. You know, are we steady? Are we stable? Are we okay to proceed? And I didn't just jump straight up. I took my time, got half up, got my balance, got the position right, adjusted the position, and then kept trying again. And after 2 or 3 attempts, I managed to get a good stand and then stood up for the rest of the paddleboarding hour. And it's the same when we have a project. It's the same when we do something new. We've got to try it, adjust it, try it again, tweak it, feel it, okay? And that's what I realized, that the feeling was very much a left and right balance. I expected to be able to balance left and right and get my balance on my feet right, which I'm pretty good at doing with skiing and jet skiing and water skiing and other things that I've done. But then what I didn't realize was, as I started to use the paddle, how much the forward and the backward balance caught me out. And I think in business, when we try something, it's those unexpected shifts and influences that we have to think about. We might want to cope with the left and the right, but are we expecting, as we start to apply power, as we start to apply momentum and inertia, that obviously then we've got that balance backwards and forwards? And what I found was, and I don't know if this is right or not, so any paddleboarders that are more experienced out there, and that's not hard because I've only done it the once, but as I found myself wanting to paddle harder, what I had to do was put a bit of a bend in my knee, lean forward, and actually lean into the paddling. So I want you to think about this in your business during the week ahead. Are there things that you need to cope with and adjust for? That left and that right. But also, are there things that when you get moving and you get working, that not only you've got to cope with that left and right adjustment, but you've got to cope with that backwards and forwards movement, because that's what we need to think about in our business. We need to make sure that we start to paddle, we start to get movement. And way too many of us are sometimes paralyzed because we don't want to move forward. We feel okay where we are, and moving out of our comfort zone is going to be difficult, and it is. It was for me yesterday. But as I started to paddle and I started to gain my balance, it became easier and easier and easier. And I want you to start making motion, perhaps on a project, perhaps in your business, perhaps on something you've never done before. During this week, start paddling, start getting that movement, and start thinking about all the different types of adjustments, tweaking, and just feel it. If it feels right, push on. If it doesn't feel right, then just stop, get your balance, and then go again. and just keep adjusting until you get that balance right and you get that motion right, and you can go round and round and round like I did yesterday. The unfortunate thing was, a bit of a spoiler alert, I did actually fall in the water, but I fell in the water when I was stood on the jetty when I got off, and I lost my balance and fell backwards and fell into the water and got wet through anyway, much to my wife's pleasure to see me soaking wet after doing it. But just a few lessons to think about, and a few things to think about: one, when you're paddleboarding, and two, when you're actually out there and you're actually doing things in business. You're taking that chance, you're taking that action, and you're making that movement and that motion forward. As always, I'll see you on next week's Monday's Moment, and I trust that this has been of some benefit for you, and think about what you're doing in the week ahead. Bye for now.